I got sleep deprived, and I was becoming more anxious about my performance at work. And the more anxious you become, the worse you perform, and the worse you perform, the more anxious you become, and it starts going. I became physically ill. And then I was physically ill for 18 months. And I just thought, I cannot do this anymore. I honestly, and it was like a prayer. I just said to God, please, God, you've got to help me somehow, some way. I got to get out of this. And that very same evening, I was scrolling on the internet and I somehow came across the Silva Method website.
How Silva Method can help us to get rid of the self-doubts or lack of confidence or this kind of things.
And he was doing so badly, he was afraid of being fired. And then he did the Silva Method, and in just 6 months, he became the top salesperson in the company. Waiting to manifest, every subject has got two ends, the having and the not having. So when you visualize, you see yourself having it. Having it. I've been visualizing for 3 days now. Where's the money?
It will be great if you give a glimpse of one exercise or maybe one guided meditation technique.
Take a nice deep breath in, and whilst exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 3 times.
So today we have with us an amazing, incredible person, Jeanine Sciacca, the Silva Method certified instructor and director in Australia and in South Africa, and who has already inspiring and helping endless people to change their lives and see the differences in their everyday life, or setting their goals properly, or achieving the goals in proper manner. So welcome, Jeanine. Hi, thank you so much for joining us today here in Silva International podcast series. And also, before I pass it to you, I also want to make one more thing, that I have heard, Jeanine, your radio shows that you create, right? That Mindful Monday, I believe, Meaningful Monday, or something like that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So
Meaningful
these
Monday.
are, yeah, these are amazing. These are amazing. So we got a lot of positive vibes from this. So yeah, please, Jeanine, please welcome, and please start. Hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Dibelina. Yes, I think you were referring to Meaningful Monday, which is a free webinar I do on the first Monday of every month. And I've recorded them all, and they're on my YouTube channel, which is Silva Method Australia.
Yes.
So thank you so
And
much for the
and this
intro.
YouTube channel is also amazing. Like, we got to know so many things from the way you explain, mainly that stickman and diagrams kind of a thing. These are amazing. So I'll highly recommend everybody to check it out. So,
Thank you.
Jeanine, before we start our discussion today on, the power of manifestation, this word itself has an amazing, beauty within itself, right? So, before we start discussing it, I want you to share some stories of your own life, that how you have realized that you are manifesting and you are getting this things happen. You can see the things are already happening with you. I'm sure that you have experienced it a lot of time, as you have so many years of experience with Silva Method. So it will be great if we start with a short story of short, or short experience of yours on this particular topic. It would be amazing then.
Yes, sure. So this is back now in 2010. I was working in corporate, and I just moved from South Africa. So I was in a new job, in a new company, in a new role. I also had to move to Melbourne. So I was in a new city, and I actually was also in a new industry. And I thought the learning curve would be something I could handle, but it stressed me out, something chronic. I didn't know the Silva Method then. And the learning curve was just too steep. I used to spend every day, 7 days a week, studying things to do with work, trying to understand my job role better, educate myself. And I was working days and nights. In the days, I was doing my normal job, and at nights, I was just trying to educate myself, spending hours and hours and hours studying. And eventually, I got sleep deprived, and I was becoming more anxious about my performance at work. And the more anxious you become, the worse you perform, and the worse you perform, the more anxious you become, and it starts going like a downward spiral. And I'd done many personal development programs before that, and I just could not get out of that bad state. And then I don't know why or what the reason was. And then this went on until the point that I became physically ill. And then I was physically ill for 18 months. And I just thought, I cannot do this anymore. I honestly, and it was like a prayer. I just said to God, please, God, you've got to help me somehow, some way. I got to get out of this. And that very same evening, I was scrolling on the internet and I somehow came across the Silva Method website, which I never even heard of the Silva Method at that stage. And I read the review of a guy that sounded just like me. He said that he was in a sales role and he was doing so badly, he was afraid of being fired. And then he did the Silva Method, and in just 6 months, he became the top salesperson in the company. As I read that, I thought, I don't care what this program costs. I don't care how I have to do it, but I'm buying it right now. And back then, there was no Silva Method trainer in Australia, and it was actually the audio program that I bought. This is way back in 2010. It was Silva Manifesting home study course. Anyway, the parcel arrived. I woke up every day at 5 a.m. and I listened to that over and over and over. Without realizing it, I was actually reprogramming my mind. Anyway, some months later, my boss sent I was also in sales, an email to the whole team with an update. And it was the time of a horse race in Australia that's very famous called the Melbourne Cup. So it's for fun. My boss put a picture of the Melbourne Cup horse race with all the horses going over the finish line, but he cropped the heads of the jockeys out and he put the sales team's photos. And he wrote in the heading of the email, Jeanine is leading the charge. And I thought, what? That's impossible. I was doing so badly. I was so stressed. And I thought, yeah, the Silva Method. I've been working it for several months now. I couldn't believe it. Oh, it's happened. I went into the sales system. Honestly, I became top salesperson in the company, and that was in just 5 months. Now, I'm not telling anyone this to impress them. I'm telling them this because what's really impressive about the Silva Method is it's a very structured program and very, very simple. And bit by bit, everything came right. My health came right. I'd lost all my self-confidence before that. My self-confidence came back. And not only did I become top salesperson just that once, I stayed top salesperson until I left the company. There was 4 more years. And I can absolutely give 100% credit to the Silva Method. It absolutely changed my life. And from that day, my life just got better and better. And then I reached out to Silva International and I said to them, this program has changed my life so profoundly that it would be my absolute dream to teach this to others and help them the way it's helped me. And there was no trainer in Australia. And then, long story short, here I am. They got back to me and it all happened.
That's great, Jeanine. And I think this is just a tip on the iceberg. If we start listing this kind of stories, we will get so many. It's not even listed. And if we want to list it in a book, it will be, I believe thousands of pages book. Okay, so the thing that I also want to mention here is I have read somewhere that consciously or unconsciously, all the time we are manifesting. Okay, so how we will separate this thing, or how we will gain that power to manifest consciously to get better results in our life?
Well, I think the very first thing is a person needs to take 100% responsibility for their life and all the results in their life. Some people have a victim mentality, and when things go wrong, they blame their boss, their partner, the government, the tax system, the weather, the economy, as the reason that they're not doing well. Well, the first thing is you cannot do that. You must take 100, not 99.5 or anything less, 100% responsibility. The next thing is we have to be aware that there are universal laws. These are God's laws. They don't deviate. They are consistent. They never change, and they apply whether you believe in them or not. The same as the law of gravity. You don't have to believe in it, but you just have to drop something and it'll fall down. So the law of attraction, which is actually another way of terming the law of vibration, is a law which says you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So people who are unconscious, it's just a lack of awareness. What they're thinking about, they're literally creating. So if a person said, I don't want to have debt, I don't want to have debt, you're going to create debt. So we need to become more aware of our language. It's got to be in the positive. We've got to state things in terms of what we want. So you'll say, I want a prosperity and abundance. And remember that the law of attraction is always working. So anytime at all, we have any negative emotion, you're counteracting what you're trying to create. You could be visualizing, you could be using the Silva method, but if you've got negative emotion and you're arguing with people and fighting and grumpy and angry, it's never going to happen, because you're going to get what emotion you are feeling. The dominant vibration that you are, like attracts like. In the law of vibration, it says that to which is likened itself is drawn. So we need to be in the state of that we want. And that's why gratitude is so beautiful, because it already puts you in a positive state immediately. And if you are really, really full of gratitude, you're going to attract more things into your life that are going to make you more grateful.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
people just need awareness, Debelina. That's the honest truth. When they're unconscious or conscious, it's just a lack of awareness.
yeah.
That's why feedback is your life circumstances and results. It's your feedback system. It's always giving you a clue. Are you in the right consciousness or the right state of awareness or not? If you've got bad results, no, you've been in the wrong state of mind. If you've got good results, you've been in a good state of mind. So your results are your feedback system, and we need to own the fact that we are powerful creators, whether we're aware of it or not. It doesn't mean that someone's manifesting because they have all the awareness in the Silva method training. No, what you said is correct. We're all manifesting. But people don't sometimes like to think, oh, I've just had all this bad luck in my life. Could it really be me? I'm sure it was. And they want to, no. We have to become self-aware and really look within ourselves and take responsibility. And I think then you do become more self-empowered.
Yeah, so I think the main key factor here is building the self-confidence, or removing the self-doubts or the negative thought patterns that we constantly getting, right? So, and how Silva method can help us to get rid of the self-doubts or lack of confidence on this kind of things.
Well, that's a great question. What I love about the Silva method is it's a structured program, and it's got a certain sequence that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
So one of the very, very first exercises we do is called mental house cleaning, which is being aware of our thoughts, the way we think. And the best way to know what we think, because people say, I don't know what I think, because we actually, by the way, just to tell you, the majority of our thoughts that go on in our mind, we are not consciously aware of. They actually go on in the background, in the subconscious. They're just like habit patterns. So how do we know what we're thinking? Well, we catch our speech. So when you know the things that you often say, like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of the traffic. I'm sick and tired. It doesn't matter if it's a saying. The subconscious mind is literal. So if you keep saying, I'm sick and tired of this and I'm sick and tired of that, eventually you're going to feel a little bit tired and you're not going to feel so well, have the chills, and you're going to start feeling sick. So our words help us. So the first thing we do is mental house cleaning, which helps us list a whole lot of statements that are negative, a negative speech, words like can't do this. That just shuts off your possibility of doing anything. Or words like don't. If you say don't anything, you have the wrong picture. Don't spill the drink. Don't, to a child, don't put your finger in the plug. Well, don't mess on the floor. The picture is mess on the floor, finger in the plug, spill the drink.
yeah,
So we must say, be careful with your drink. Come and sit here nicely. Don't, instead of saying don't slam the door, please close the door quietly. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of language. But the first exercise we do is becoming aware of what we say, because that is a symbolic representation of what we are thinking. And it just gets better with practice and awareness. The one thing I want to say is I have a coaching client who came to a coaching session one day. He's done the Silva method, and he said, Jeanine, I said, what would you like to cover off today? He said, I want to master the cancel technique. And I was so happy with him. And I said to him, you know what? If that's the only thing you did, you change your life. And it's true. It sounds like it's one of the most underestimated techniques. But from what you said, it all depends on what we are thinking. And also what we think creates what we feel. And that's even a stronger vibration. And you engage again the law of attraction.
Yes, that's true. And also, Jeanine, I wanna ask you one more thing, that how visualizations can help us, like how visualization is directly or indirectly related to manifestation.
Well, that is the most powerful tool on the planet.
Yes.
Every top performer in any industry is using visualization. And the
Yeah.
reason it's so powerful is your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. So if you're not feeling very confident, this was me, for example, way back when I was struggling in corporate. I lost all my confidence. I was doing so badly. I was so almost not want to be seen, if you know what I mean. I wanted like not be seen by anyone. I kind of hide because I just didn't have the right results. So what did I visualize? I visualized myself coming in the door of the office, walking all the way down for all the people's desks there, and everyone high-fiving me, saying, well done, Jeanine, well done, Jeanine. And me walking with a real up straight posture, feeling confident, with a feeling of success. I knew what the
Yeah.
feeling of success was because I had it many times years before that, before I immigrated. And just embodying that feeling, visualizing it. Well, in that moment that I'm visualizing that feeling of achievement and imagining people saying, well done, and high-fiving me, and feeling the feeling of confidence in that present moment, for my brain, for my subconscious, I am confident. I am achieving. I am successful. And you do it once, you do it again, and every time you do it, the brain says, oh, this is you. You're confident, successful, and achieving. And then with more repetition, over time, it just is who you become. And I kid you not, when I told my story earlier, after 5 months, when I was doing really well in sales, what happened? People came up and high-fived me. And I thought, this silver method is like magic. It's not magic, but it works like magic. Unbelievable. I had the exact experience that I was visualizing.
That's true. For the initial days, when I have taken the Silver Method course, it seems like a magic. It initially it feels like a magic that I have never expected these things, and these things I can see it's happening with me. So it's not like less than magic, I believe so. So, Janine, so can we discuss something more about that DBE thing that we have in Silver Method? Desire, belief, expectancy kind of a term?
So you want me to talk about desire, belief, and expectancy? Yes.
Yes.
In the silver method, there are 3 steps. There are actually 5, but the 3 to get to manifesting is what you said: desire, belief, and
Yes.
expectancy. So people think that if they don't have a very strong desire and they look at someone else who keeps saying, I'm going to do this, and and you can see that desire, they think that person's just lucky. They just like full with desire. It's not true. Desire is our own responsibility again. And one of my favorite personal development books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And chapter 1, there's 13 principles in that book. The first principle is desire. He wrote a whole chapter on it. Why? Because we need to conjure that desire. You don't just need a little bit of desire, you need to have a burning desire. You really need to have a real burning desire, because we know, look in your life, anytime that you've achieved something, you really wanted that thing. So now we have goals, we start planning and thinking, well, what do I want? To get clear on your goals. Once you've got that clarity, we might not have a lot of desire. It's up to us to keep saying, yes, this is what I really want. Think it, believe it. When you're visualizing it, feel that strong desire, this I really want. So that's our first responsibility. The second one, belief. I'll say this: your beliefs determine your living experience. I learned that from Silva Manifesting. Beliefs determine your living experience. So if you believe, doesn't matter what it is, even if you believe, you know, Auntie Mary is grumpy, she will be grumpy. So you create your beliefs and they prove themselves back to you. If someone else had a belief that Auntie Mary is so kind and loving, for them, Auntie Mary is kind and loving to them. So it even is with people, things, anything. So when we want to manifest, the only reason you don't have the thing in your life right now is because your current belief system is not the same as what it is that you want. So let's talk about money. I like to talk about money because you can measure it. People know if they have or haven't got it, and if they've got
Yeah.
more or less, they can measure it. So if a person would like a lot more money and they don't have it in their life, they have a limiting belief. Some belief that, I don't know, I can't earn more than this because I'm an employee. That's not true. I've broken that belief in my own life using the Silva method. I was working in corporate for a fixed salary, and I heard Laura Silva say on her audio program, someone said to her, say I allow myself to double my income, or I allow myself to triple my income. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose to try this. I can test the Silva method. Does it work or not? I'm in a fixed income. I did the exact same thing. And I didn't even realize that I had actually done it until I got my tax return. And I thought, oh my goodness, I did double my income. I bought an investment property some years before. I did a transaction, I sold it. And that year I doubled my income. So belief, we have to create a new belief. And the best way to create a new belief is to use visualization. Because with repetition, every time you see that image, the brain starts to believe this is you. So again, in the words of Napoleon Hill, what the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. What does it mean to conceive? It means to see that picture in your mind, as we say in the Silva method, on your mental screen, with repetition over and over and over. Conceive, conceive, conceive. Make the impression over and over. With enough repetition, depends on the goal and the person, how much you need. Sometimes you need one visualization and you'll manifest that thing. Other times it will take 6 months. Sometimes it will take a year. It depends on the person, the goal, and their limiting belief. But every time you repeat your visualizing, slowly but surely, if it's the money, you see yourself with all that money. You see yourself, you feel that. You know how you're spending it. You know how your lifestyle has changed. You keep repeating this and you own it. This is me. This is me now. Not saying, oh, I hope in the future I get this image. It's not that. When you're doing the visualizing, it's in the present tense. You actually are that version of yourself with the goal accomplished, as if it's past tense, really. And what does that feel like? And as you do that with repetition, you slowly create a new belief. All it is another neuro pathway. So if I can explain this a little bit neuroscientifically, very simply and quickly. If you thought, I don't have enough money, and you thought it again, you've run that neuro pathway twice. And I don't have enough money again, third time. Every time you think that thought, that neuron fires. And every time it runs, it builds a little bit of something called myelin over that neuron sheath. With enough repetition, it forms a fatty sheath over that neuron, and that becomes a dominant pathway. So when we say, no, I'm abundant, I have more than enough, and I can see and feel myself with all this extra money with abundance, the first time it might feel very false and not real and fake to a person. Just do it. Use your imagination. It's the most powerful faculty we have of the mind. So imagine that state, that money. Imagine what it feels like to have it. And whilst you're imagining it, you're running this neuro pathway. Now, maybe the first time it's not dominant. You've only done it maybe once for a few minutes. You do it again and again. Every time you do it, and especially when you have a lot of feeling going, you build more and more myelin over that neuron pathway, over that neural sheath, that sheath. That slowly becomes also quite dominant. Now you've got the old dominant pathway, you're building the new one, and eventually they kind of even, but you're aware, you're conscious, you don't have negative thoughts. You don't say, I don't have enough money. You use that other technique, cancel. I'm abundant. My cup runneth over. Anything that you want to say that supports that. And eventually, with awareness and practice, the new belief kicks in. Oh, I'm a person with wealth. I'm a person with money. I've got more money than I could ever need. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, you feel a different way. And then you have this expectancy that's natural and automatic. It's a knowing that this money is coming because you've lived it in your subconscious so often. It becomes real for the brain. And that's when it becomes a new belief. And the minute you've got a new belief, you don't really have to try for expectancy. In my life, I don't. It's natural. It's that knowing. It's that full knowing that things are going to happen. And in the Silva method, we say desire plus belief plus expectancy equals faith. Yeah. That's what faith is. Faith is a belief that's absolute. It's a belief with zero doubt. And once that happens, I promise you that goal just manifests. And sometimes with something like money, we sometimes gradually move towards that. I know that from my own life, especially working for myself, I don't get a fixed income, but I'm so aware of how I create. And when I'm blocking my creation of money, and then I'm back onto it again. And gratitude is really, I'll just say it again, it's one of the most powerful principles, just to feel grateful for everything you have. Maybe you don't have enough money right now, but maybe your health is okay. You've got eyesight, you've got hearing, you've got someone in your life that loves you, you've got a roof over your head, anything. The more gratitude we have, the more we are in that state of allowing ourselves to receive it. And negative emotion is the block. Also, I must just say this, lack of forgiveness. If someone's listening to this, trust me, the biggest block to money is lack of forgiveness. People think that they're not manifesting or visualizing right. Whenever someone struggles with money, the only question you have to ask yourself is, who do I need to forgive? That's one of the most important ones. And there's another one, which I've got on my YouTube channel. I won't go into it now. Look on my Meaningful Monday about tithing. Tithing is a spiritual principle for prosperity. It's the one principle that people say, I'll do this, I'll visualize, and I'll be positive, and I'll gratitude journal. But no, tithing, no, that's not for me. Well, go and listen to that podcast, because that's the one that opens the floodgates to money. It absolutely is. So I'll just mention that. That's not the Silva method. That's just the principle in itself.
Yes. So if I summarize this, then I think it will be better that if first we need to be clear on what we want, what we actually want, that will make us to set a proper goal, that will make us to create a concrete desire, that what we really want from the bottom of our heart, right? And then we will keep imagining it, visualizing it over and over in our head. That will strong our belief system, I believe, and indirectly it will related to the expectancy.
Correct.
But I think we should have always the power of surrenderness, right? That we shouldn't wait, or we shouldn't expect that what result we are going to get. Because sometimes I think it can cause some diversion in our thoughts, that sometimes it will happen that we visualize our goals, and then the diversion will go to the outcome of the goals, and we will start looking for this outcome. So is it? Yeah.
Yes. So that's a very good point. When we keep looking for the evidence that
Yeah.
we're trying to manifest and visualize for, and when we see that evidence is not there, that is creative in itself. The awareness, I don't have it yet, is actually creating not having it. So so the two things I want to say. The one is the desire, belief, and expectancy is 1, 2, 3. The next one is action. We must take action.
Definitely.
That's in alignment with where we're going. So,
Yeah.
a person can't visualize, for example, let's just say that they want to reduce body weight, and they're doing the visualizing, but the action they're then taking is counteracting what they're trying to achieve, eating completely incorrectly, just doing the wrong things. We all know what those things are. So action is the other one. And the last one is persistence, which I really love. People don't talk about persistence enough, but we have to persist.
Correct.
Now, when you spoke about, I just want to grab a pen to show you this. When you spoke about, what are we thinking when we're waiting to manifest? Every subject has got two ends, the having and the not having. So when you visualize, you see yourself having it. Then you come out of visualizing and you walk around, and then you must pay for something. Let's say it's money. You go, oh, I don't have enough money yet, and the money hasn't come yet. Or I've been visualizing for 3 days now. Where's the money? Every time you jump to this side, not having it, this side is as creative as this side. So which side? So if there's too much tension and too much stress around the goal, my suggestion is get off the subject. Get onto a subject that makes you happy, feel good inside. Because to manifest, we have to feel good. You've got to feel good if you want to manifest the thing that you want. If we're not feeling good, how on earth could we manifest that we want if we're not feeling good? It's not going to happen. So, yes, being aware that you're not saying it's not here yet. No. Every time you think of the goal, in the Silva method, say, think about the goal in a past tense sense, as if it's whole and complete. as if it's already done. That's full faith. I absolutely know this is my reality. It's just, I always think the goal is already done. Life's kind of catching up, but I know it's done. This thing's accomplished. And the more I feel that feeling, the quicker the manifestation comes.
Yes, and also I think one more, the drawback or roadblocks I can see in the power of manifestation or something like that is like people manifest some materialistic things rather than, the actual piece of joy or what make them more enjoy the fulfillment of or like the achievement. But people become more materialistic nowadays. Like, I want to get this car. That's why I am, this kind of thing happens. So I think that sometimes creates a stubborn belief that, and uh, it destroys our belief system as well. I think sometimes. So. Also, one more thing that I want to ask you is how we can align our thoughts, intuitions, so that we can manifest in a proper way. How the alignment can be for somebody who doesn't know about manifestation. Or I mean, nowadays everyone is quite aware of it, the term manifestation. But still, if somebody is known aware, they don't have any idea of manifestation, the what. So how they will align their thoughts, emotions and intuitions to get proper manifestation result?
Okay, that's a nice question. I think the most important thing is the awareness
Yeah.
that we have to, as much as possible, eliminate negative emotion. So the first thing is stop complaining. Like, people complain so much, it's such a bad habit. If you just listen to people, us in a shopping center, if we're standing in a queue or I'm on a public transport or just outside the cinema, listen to people whenever they're talking in coffee shops, I hear often people complaining. The first thing is just stop complaining. Stop telling that bad story. If you want to tell that story, rather tell the person you're talking to the story in terms of what it is that you want. So if you said something like, um, my boss doesn't treat me right, he never appreciates my work, and that's complaining. If you want to tell that story, rather say it like this: I would really love it if my boss appreciated my work. I would really absolutely love it if I was valued and supported at work. Talk in terms of what you want.
Yeah,
So
becoming more positive in all
definitely be more
aspects.
positive. The other one you said about how do we feel our emotions.
Yes.
If thoughts are powerful creators, then emotions are much, much more powerful. They're a much stronger and firmer vibration. So with emotions, I go back to gratitude. There is nothing more powerful than gratitude. I tell every student I teach, every client I have as a coaching client, any course I train, I tell every person, if I can get to talk to them for even 5 minutes, the one thing I'll tell you to do, gratitude journal every single day of your life. Like you brush your teeth, it's got to be a daily habit. You've got to stay in that place where you're always aware of your blessings. You're always aware of how much you do have. Gratitude is the most powerful, positive energy. And when we want a goal to achieve it, the words of Neil Donald Walsh are: gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe. Gratitude in advance, that means you haven't even got the goal yet, but as you're visualizing having the goal and you're in that feeling state, in the Silva method, and we even lock it in with our 3-finger technique, we go into gratitude. I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for this thing. And then every time the goal comes to mind, the only thing I think of is what I felt and thought when I was visualizing in that minute. I just close my eyes briefly and I go, thank you, thank you, thank you. As if it's real and accomplished. So that really helps. It's
Also,
negative
I think,
emotion, complaining, and
yes.
also lack of forgiveness. I'll say it again. Lack of forgiveness is as simple as holding a grudge. It could be 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. You have to forgive. So there's two spiritual principles that are, they have to be included if a person really wants to manifest. Otherwise, we can manifest, and I'll just say it comes up to a certain ceiling. This was me in my life. I got to a certain ceiling. I did well, but I found I just couldn't go quite past that. And through all the personal development that I've done, I read a book, and it was about forgiveness. And it was really about it's called the 3 missing chapters of Think and Grow Rich. And the 3 missing chapters are love, forgiveness, and tithing. So love is the other one. We've got to have more loving energy. We've got to love people more, value people, treat them kindly. Get rid of all negative, grumpy emotions. We have to eliminate. We have to become, this is the best way to say it, we have to become nicer, better, happier, grateful people. If they say those who don't thank for little will never thank for much. So grateful, kind, happy, every day, practice that state. Become that person, and you will find you'll absolutely manifest more and better.
Yeah, and I believe it will help us to be more grounded as well. And that is more important to grow even in our life, in every aspects of our life, to be grounded more and more. So I think the power of forgiveness and building love within yourself, it help us to get grounded. I think so. Okay, so that thank you, Jeanine. That's all that I have from manifestation. The questions that I have, but definitely I'll open the comment section of this video so that people can come with more and more questions, and we will get back to you soon again. So before we wrap up, Jeanine, it will be great if you uh, give a glimpse of one exercise or maybe one guided meditation technique to our audience, so that they can get an idea of how Silva method works, actually, how wonderful it can create the difference.
Okay, sure. Look, first of all, how much time do we have?
You can take your time. I think we don't have time abundance. We can do.
Okay, I can do an actual Silva method from the manual. It might take a little bit long, so I'll probably improvise and just try
Yeah.
and make a mini simple version for people who haven't
Yes,
done the
yes.
training. Because in the training, we have a proper 3-to-1 method. We practice
Yeah.
getting down to the alpha level. So I'm going to just explain that in the Silva method, when we want to manifest, we have a technique called the mirror of the mind. So we imagine the current state that you're in a dark blue frame, and we then acknowledge what's causing the problem just briefly, and then we rub that out. We move that mirror just slightly to the left, and then we change the frame from dark blue to bright white, as if it's almost backlit, like lit up, beautiful white. And there you put your goal image, and then all you need to do is see it, feel it, experience it more and more and more, until you really got that feeling. And then we actually step into the image of ourselves accomplishing the goal in that white frame mirror. And when the feeling is just right, we use another technique, locking it in. So even if you haven't done the Silva method, I'll just give you a layman's terms. I won't use the Silva method terminology. We'll just use layman's terms, and I'll just kind of guide a person through it, if that's okay. Do you want any music in the background?
I think it will be better if you play the alpha sound, or we can add as well after that.
Okay, you can, if you want to. Okay, you can add at the end. All right. So I'd say to a person, just relax, find a comfortable position, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, and whilst exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 3 times. Number 3 is for physical relaxation, where we learn to relax from head to toes in a matter of seconds. So just briefly, consciously relax your body right now. Relax your scalp, your forehead, your eyes, the tissues around your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw and tongue, your throat, your neck. Relax your shoulders. Just relax your shoulders and your arms all the way down to your hands. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax your chest. Just continue to breathe slowly, deeply, and rhythmically as you continue relaxing more. Take another slow, deep belly breath in and relax your abdomen. And as you're feeling more relaxed, Relax your pelvic area and your hips. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet, all the way down to your toes. It's a wonderful feeling to be deeply relaxed, a very healthy state of being. To help us relax even further, we're going to go to level 2. Level 2 is for mental relaxation. So take a nice deep breath in, and whilst exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 2 3 times. Level 2 is for mental relaxation, where noises will not distract you. Noises will help you to relax mentally more and more. To help us relax mentally at level 2, practice visualizing a very tranquil and passive scene. I always like to imagine looking out over a very quiet and still lake where nothing is moving. The water is like glass. Everything is quiet and calm and still. This helps us to relax mentally. To enter level 1, take another nice deep breath in, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 1 3 times. You're now at level 1, which is a nice relaxed state, which we can now use for a purpose, any purpose we desire. So now, if a person would like to manifest something, bring to mind a goal that you'd like to achieve. And get clear on that goal. So clear that you could measure it, so you know if you've achieved it. And now, at the count of 3, I'm going to ask you to just to imagine a blue framed mirror. And imagine it at the count of 3 on the screen of your mind. 1, 2, 3. On the screen of your mind now, your mental screen, is a blue framed mirror. I want you to now imagine on that blue framed mirror your current situation or current problem, whatever it is that's currently the situation you'd like to change. And just spend a few seconds acknowledging anything that's contributing towards that problem, anything that's causing that problem. Just bring that to mind. Now, imagine that you're rubbing out that image on your blue screen, on your blue framed mirror of the mind. And once it's all rubbed out, shift the mirror slightly to your left. Change the frame to white. And now project onto the white framed mirror the solution or goal image. Imagine it in bright, colorful, clear imagery. Keep it dynamic, like a movie. See yourself in the scene. Remember to project intense desire onto that image, a belief that you will achieve it, and even expectancy that this will happen for you. And when the image is just right, walk up to the mirror of the mind, step into the image of you, become one with the image. And now experience it fully and completely using all of your mental senses, How does it smell? How does it look? What does it sound like? All your mental senses, as if it's real. And feel the emotion of achieving that goal. I'm going to give you some time now. The most important thing is to feel how it feels to have achieved that goal. Take your time. When the image is exactly as you want it to be, and you can feel the sense of achievement, of achieving that goal, just gently press your thumb and the first two fingers of your hand together and just lock in that feeling. That feeling, just as you press your fingers together, your three fingers together, you feel that feeling and lock it in and tell yourself mentally, whenever I have a need or desire to think this way, feel this way, believe or behave this way, all I need to do is press my three fingers together and it will be so. Whenever I have a need or desire to think this way, feel this way, believe or behave this way, all I need to do is put my three fingers together and it will be so. Now, anytime in the future when you bring this goal to mind, make sure you think of it as the image is in the white framed mirror of the mind. And always allow that to be the image. And allow a nice deep breath and relax. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3, at the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before, feeling the way you feel when you have slept the right amount of revitalizing, refreshing, relaxing, healthy, wonderful sleep. 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before.
Thank you. It was amazing. It was refreshing, and it's 9:30 here in India time, so it's a daytime starting our day. So it will be a brighter start than ever before. So thank you, Jeanine. So before we end it, so I just want to mention one thing that I always truly believe that for me, manifestation is like that treasure trove, the treasure map to our brain or our desires that we truly want to feel in our life, or we truly want to achieve in our life. So thank you so much, Jeanine. I believe so many people can relate with these questions, and they will be grateful to you with the answers. I believe I'll put the link of your website in our description box, I believe, so that people can check it out, the upcoming courses. On September, you have a course, right? Okay.
Yes, in September, I have a course on the 21st,
Yeah,
21, till the 24th.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes. Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much. And
you.
maybe share, if you don't mind, Debelina, my YouTube channel. There's over 200 helpful videos. It's free
Yes,
resources. There's a whole
yes.
library and really all kinds of topics to help a person.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. We will
thank you so
put
much.
the link here so that people can get most of it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Have a
Really
nice day.
appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.